Welcome back to the Beyond Booked podcast. I am so incredibly excited to jump into this week's episode. We've had the most incredible feedback so far, and I cannot wait to talk you through what we're going to speak about today. So today, we're really going to talk about what takes you from my calendar is my business and I'm so busy to my offer sells and delivers without me being glued to calls the whole time. And I want to talk you through one of my clients, Sarah. When she came to me, she was doing one-to-one offers, right? Her group programs were open and close cart, meaning that she was having a start date and a finish date. She was on the consistent classic launch roller coaster. And to be honest, when Sarah came to me, she was kind of a shell of herself. She was so beyond exhausted. And now, after working together and implementing the methodology I'm about to teach you in this podcast, she has the most incredible evergreen offer, a simple system that enrolls clients consistently, and scaling it in a way that doesn't just control her life. So I want to break down to you exactly what we did step by step so you can replicate this in your own business. So in Sarah's business and in her offer, she had a great offer, right? She had the most incredible client results. People genuinely loved working with her. Like she had the most incredible testimonial. But her business model was essentially sell, 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 deliver live, repeat, burn out, disappear. Right? And she'd been in this cycle for a really, really long time. After she then disappeared, she would then panic post. She would then throw a bunch of money on ads and hope that was going to help and show up 3 times a week, then launch again. Right? So Sarah's biggest issue when she came to me wasn't the fact that she wasn't good, right? You can't scale a crappy offer, and we'll talk about that. But the biggest issue wasn't that Sarah wasn't good. It was that her business was built on her time and her business wasn't built to scale. And in the methodology and in the method that she was using, the only way she could make more money was by adding more calls, more clients, more launches. She hit her ceiling really, really quickly, right? So when Sarah came to me, and this is probably your goal if you're listening to this right now, her goal became really, really simple, right? Keep the client transformation, but lose the time trap. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through exactly what I did with Sarah and exactly how you can do this in your own business. So the first thing Sarah and I did together was we stopped reinventing the wheel, right? A lot of coaches think evergreen means create a whole new offer, make a course, start from scratch. It's actually the complete opposite. Evergreen is usually your best offer, but making it scalable, right? So taking what already works, what is already getting client results, and make it scalable. So when we sat down in our first session, I asked her, what results are you already known for? Right? What do clients thank you for? What part of your process do you find yourself doing over and over again that is actually repeatable? Right? What are the most common client problems that you solve over and over and over again, month on month on month and year on year? Right? Then we pulled the patterns together. Right? Because your evergreen offer should be built around what's already proven and working, right? Not a brand new idea or concept and hoping that it's worked. This is not for testing. This is taking what's already proven and scaling it to the moon, right? So I want you to think about, what do your clients repeatedly come to you for? Even if you offered nothing else, what do your clients repeatedly come to you for? The second thing we had a look at is packaging the transformation. And again, this is where a lot of people, when they move from one-to-one to one-to-many, or from an open and closed cart to an evergreen offer, we want to package the transformation, not your time. Right. And this is such a big one when you're moving and shifting your business to evergreen. We shifted her offer from access to her to a clear client journey. Right. The deliverables and the thing that was shiny was access to her, unlimited access to me, unlimited message, versus actually what we should be selling is a clear client journey and outcomes, right? We mapped the transformation like a bit of a staircase, right? So it wasn't just like, here's my brain on a Zoom call. It was step 1 is this, step 2 is that, step 3 is this, step 4 is this result, right? And we built a really simple curriculum around it that made it really obvious, that was repeatable, right? And this is one thing you have to think about. If you are doing the same work over and over again with multiple different clients a week and having the same conversations, you are able to turn it into an evergreen. So what we did is we created a really simple curriculum that made it obvious what they do first, what they do next, how they're going to get the result, what success looks like at each milestone, right? And this is what makes an evergreen offer feel really premium. It's clarity, it's structure, it's knowing what's coming next, it's knowing how your client gets to that result. Because in reality, people don't pay for calls, right? They're not paying thousands of dollars for calls, they're paying thousands of dollars for outcomes. That is what they're paying for, right? So the step three that we looked at was actually building the evergreen delivery that actually can support scaling her own business, but can also actually help her clients. So we then looked at re-delivering and redesigning her delivery, right? Because what burns coaches out isn't selling. It's trying to deliver in a way that requires them to be on constantly, right? So we want to be thinking about how do we grow the business that doesn't require you to be on constantly. So with Sarah, what we did is we kept support high touch but scalable, right? So we swapped all of those endless one-to-ones that she had for week group coaching calls or bi-weekly. With her, we did them every single week, right? We spoke about having office hours. We spoke about having Q&A calls that were available, voice note support that she could literally do from the beach or from a coffee shop, right? Community feedback where people could support each other and answer each other's questions. There was structured check-ins. There wasn't just unlimited access to her, right? And the really, really big key thing when it comes to Evergreen delivery, and I want to say this in a nice way without sounding horrible, Evergreen delivery should feel like access, not dependency, right? Clients still feel held, but they don't need you 24/7, right? And that means that you're no longer chained to your calendar because your clients feel supported. They have access to all the tools, but they're not dependent on you. Okay, so the fourth thing we then looked at was creating an evergreen entry point, right? We needed the offer to be able to sell without live launches. And again, this is a conversation that I have with so many business owners and coaches where they're like, okay, but if I'm not doing live launches, how am I selling, right? The offer needs to be sellable without launches. So we created one really clear, simple entry part, right? Evergreen means people can join every day, not when you're just in launch mode. So that requires two things to change. We need a clear start here pathway where people can come in at any time of year, any day of the month, and go through the pathway. They also need a frictionless enrollment process, right? So the things that we looked at tightening for her were the messaging, the positioning, the who is this for, the program promise, the way she explained and spoke about the transformation, because evergreen offers don't sell from hype, right? They don't sell from doors closing soon. There's only few many spots. This discount's running out. This is the first time we're doing this. Evergreen offers do not sell from hype. So if you've been taught hype marketing, this is where things are going to need to change, right? Offers sell from clarity. They sell from people knowing this is for them. What is the promise they're getting? What are the outcomes that they are going to get? Okay, so once you get really clear on that, this is where you can start scaling this to the moon, right? And this is the next step that we had a look at, right? Was installing a simple funnel, right? Please, if you hear the word funnel, don't run away or turn this podcast off, right? It doesn't need to be complicated, right? So many people get really like dramatic and overcomplicated when it comes to a funnel, right? You do not need a 97 million step funnel that someone needs to go through, right? You need a simple funnel that does three things. First of all, is attract the right people, right? There's no point in having people in your funnel if they're not the right people. The second is warm them up, right? How are you warming up these people? How are you getting them excited? And then finally, how do you invite them into the offer, right? How do you actually invite people into the offer? So you need to make sure that you have those three right. If you're attracting all the right people, but you're not warming them up correctly, you're never going to get a chance to invite them in. Right? So the way that we build out like a really clean funnel is content, which is coming through your content, or an ad. So it's content or ad. Then it goes to like lead magnet or free training or a VSL. We nurture them. Then we jump on a call with them or there's a checkout page. That's it. Right? So with Sarah, we made sure that she had a consistent content rhythm. Right? We did start running a few ads, but we actually did this and scaled this before we did ads. The second thing is we need a call to action that didn't feel cringe, right? Her call to action was that she wanted to get people on sales calls. right? We needed a nurture sequence. This is exactly what we did that actually sold the result and the outcome. Okay. So we really want to be thinking about Evergreen. It's a relationship system that runs all year round, that doesn't require this open and close cart, that doesn't require the launches that literally make you feel exhausted. And if you're at a place of your business where you're like, I'm booked out with one-on-ones, I'm constantly on the open and close cart cycle, and I feel so exhausted over here, and then trying to do all these things over here, Evergreen system is literally going to allow you to build a relationship system that runs all year round, right? Then what we want to be thinking about, and this is exactly what we did with Sarah. Once we proved that she had a really solid Evergreen offer, it was scalable in delivery, we had a super simple funnel and consistent enrollment, we then looked at moving to scaling, right? Because when it comes to one-on-one, and when it comes to open and close cart, it's so hard to scale. And this is one of the biggest things where so many coaches get stuck at like $100,000, $200,000 years, right? They cannot move past, right? So scaling for her looked like increasing visibility as we spoke, and we introduced ads at this point, creating more demand at the top of funnel, running traffic ads, as we spoke about, improving conversion rates, tightening the onboarding and retention, and really refining her sales process. Sarah absolutely loves sales calls, as do I. Right. And that's one of the biggest things that we spoke about is how do we get how do we get her in front of as many people as possible? And she was amazing on sales calls. She had such good personality and her conversion rate was amazing because people loved her. Right. One thing I want to be really, really clear on is ads don't fix a broken offer. Adding more content doesn't fix a broken offer. You have to make sure, in order to grow and scale, you have to amplify what is already working, right? So we made sure that her offer was already working. Her clients were getting results. People were happy. And then we turned the volume up and then we were able to help her scale. So if you're sat here thinking, yeah, that all sounds great, but I'm really tired. I can't even think about like changing it to an evergreen offer, right? My offer works, but it's eating up my calendar. I'm so exhausted from launching, right? I want to scale without working more hours. I really want you to know this, right? Evergreen isn't a funnel. And I think so many people talk about this, like build a funnel and your business will grow. Evergreen is a business model, right? It's how you build a business that grows without requiring more of your life. Okay. And so when you're thinking about this, so many people think if I just throw a funnel into my business, I'll be able to scale and grow. But if your back end and your offer are not fit to scale and grow, you're going to end up in the exact same situation. And when I first started like doing group coaching and trying to create an evergreen model, I hit this point as well because my back end of my business was not actually set up. My offer wasn't actually scalable and needed me so much inside of the business. All I had done was replace my one-to-one and called it an evergreen offer and go, okay, cool, this is going to work. Right? The reality is you need to literally move from, I'm not just going to add a funnel into my business. I'm literally going to change my whole entire business model. And how exciting that you get to change a whole entire business model that actually takes your business from where you are to scaling without requiring more of your life or on being on calls the whole time. And this is so possible and easy for you. If you follow every single step I implemented, you can literally take your current one-to-one offer or your open and close cart offer and turn it into an evergreen machine. So if you want help turning your one-to-one offer or your open and close cart offer into an evergreen offer that sells consistently and scales, I want you to go to my Instagram, which I've tagged below, DM me the word podcast, and I will tell you inside of a DM exactly what to focus on first based on what you are currently selling. I'll see you all on next week's episode.